Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel once again. So in today's video I'm going to show you how we can draw these flowers step by step, and then I'm going to paint all these using line and wash technique. So if you are not into watercolor, you can simply put some color into your drawing and you will get something like this. If you are into watercolor, then you can apply a different technique of watercolor to paint these flowers. But we are going to draw these and then we are going to paint it. And I'm using this light brown color watercolor sheet. This is 200 GSM, not very good for watercoloring. But I wanted to try this sheet for drawing and painting both purpose. So let's see how it goes. Let's start with the first flower. So in the first flower, I have created a basic guideline. So I have created a round and then small oval shape and then couple of leaves with smooth edges into it. So this is the basic guideline. I'm also thinking to create one flower bird. So smaller circle is something we can go with. Now this is the basic guideline. Rest thing we are going to do with the help of pen. I'm using needle pen. You can use normal ball pen also. It's totally fine. Now you can create the center part of the flower little darker and then you can start creating petals. So I have created two petals opposite direction and then in between I have created one more. You can also add little bit fold around couple of petals and then you can fill the circle with more petals at the back side. So this one is like overlapped petals in it. Now for the flower bird, you don't need to do much. Simply create a green structure and petals. And then this one is the side perspective. So I am also creating sepals and three petals like this. So this one is the side perspective. Now you can draw the stems. So for the stems, I'm going to create two lines because I'm using very fine pen. This is size 02. And for the leaf, I'm also adding a bit of serration into it. So you can do something like this and rub all the unwanted pencil mark. Now you can do a little bit of shading, although we are going to paint these using watercolor. So no need of extra shading and detailing. But we are also learning how we can draw these. So I think a little bit of shading and detailing is important. So I am giving some extra shade around the leaf area, around the base of the flower, in the center part of the flower. Also in the flower bird, I have created little darker shade at one side to create the sepal. So this is the first flower. Now let's move to the second one. So in the second one, I have created one circle and one oval shape. Oval shape is mostly for the side perspective. And then you can create a stem. You can also create flower bird as well. And then for this particular flower, I'm creating just foliages kind of pattern or tree branches kind of structure to create leaf. And then at the base, you can create a small section and you can also create sepals. Now in this flower, the petals are separated from each other. In the first one, we have created overlapped petals. This one is separated from each other so we can see all the petals clearly. And we have two different perspectives. One is side and one is front. Now the first one is inspired by poppy flower and this one is inspired by cosmos flower. Now again I'm repeating the similar stuff, creating two lines for the stems. You can create only one line using little bigger pen. Also try to create sepals for flower birds and side perspective of the flower. Now you can create a little bit of extra shading and detailing if you want to, or else you can skip this particular part. And for the leaf, I'm just simply creating tree branch kind of pattern. So you can create branch and then sub branch, then sub branch. So something like this you can do. So we are done with these two flowers. Now let's move to the third one. So third one is inspired by the daffodil flower, or you can say these are the daffodil flower itself, but I always like to mention inspired by. So in the first flower, this is the normal perspective. So I'm creating a big center part of the flower like this, little bit wavy. And then in this one is side perspective. So I'm creating this U kind of shape. And then you can create the petals around it. So a couple of petals are smaller because this one is side perspective, and you're also not seeing the pointed end of the petal area. And then in this one is the normal perspective, so you can create 3 to 4 petals. Now for this one I'm creating little longer leaves, so just go around. You can also overlap the leaves and flowers, so composition is totally up to you what kind of composition you need, or else you can just google it and try to use any reference photo, and then you can draw something like this. So basically the funda is, if you want to create a side perspective, do not create a round, instead you can create an oval shape to get side perspective. I have created many videos around the perspective of flowers, so if you want to refer to those videos, you can get a link into my description section. Trace everything with the help of pen, do some extra shading and detailing if needed. I have not done much, just created a middle line into the petal area. You can do some hatching process around the leaf area, which I'm going to do for almost all the leaves. So hatching means creating parallel lines side by side. So more closer the line, the greater shade you will get. Now in this one is inspired by Morning Glory. So I'm creating 2 perspective of flower, left and right. So you can create an oval shape accordingly, and then you kind of shape for the lower portion of the flower, and then you can create a stem. For this one I'm creating heart kind of shape for the leaf, and then you can create some wavy pattern around the edges of upper portion of the flower. You can do these things directly with the help of pen, and then you can create couple of curves which is going to the center part of the flower, and the center part of the flower is mostly towards downward direction, not in the center. Now you can create sepals, you can create lower portion of the flower, and then you can trace everything whatever you have done with the help of pencil. So little wavy pattern around the edges, and then couple of lines which is going to the center part. So trace all the things quickly with the help of pen, and then at the end we are going to paint all these flowers using watercolor. So I think line and wash technique is the easiest way to paint if you are a beginner, or if you are only interested in drawing but you want to try watercolor into your drawing. I think this one is the best way. Simply create whatever structure you want to create and then put some color into it. You don't even need to follow the watercolor technique. Now let's move to the second last. So in this flower I'm creating little bigger leaf. Mostly you can create different perspective of leaf, little bit tilted, straight, bigger, pointed, whatever kind of leaf you want. And then for the flower I'm creating a small base of the flower and 3 petals like this. So I'm thinking to create one more flower. So in this flower the inner portion of the flower is also visible. So something like this you can create. Now let's create the last one. This one is inspired by Lily of Valley. So in this one again I am creating little tilted leaf, and then little bigger and wider leaf for Lily of Valley. You can create folded pattern for the leaves, and then you can create a string in the center and having multiple flowers in it. So Lily of Valley is mostly like small rounded flower having little zigzag pattern around the base and creating a bell kind of shape. So something like this we are doing. Now let's trace everything quickly with the help of pen. So again you can create 2 lines for the stem. You can trace the flower area, and you can do some hatching process for the leaf. These are bigger in size, so I think doing some hatching process is something we can do. There are different techniques of sketching like hatching, cross hatching, contouring, cross contouring, scribbing, and many more. So you need to learn all those things if you are drawing something to enhance your drawing, and I have already created a separate video around those techniques. So if you want you can refer to that video. I can give you a link into my description section for that as well. So these are the flower that we have drawn, and we have done a little bit of shading and detailing, and then we are going to paint all these flowers with the help of watercolor. So let's paint all these flowers now. So I'm using this size 5 round brush. You can use little smaller, little bigger based on your comfort, and then try adding different colors around the structure that you have created. Now the good part is you can simply put some color. You don't even need to think the different process and technique of watercolor. Simply put some flower color into flower area and green color into leaf area, and that's it. Even you can go beyond the structure that you have created. You don't need to stick around the flower pattern, but this time I'm trying to use a little bit of watercolor technique as well. So I have added a darker shade around the corner and around the edges, and then I try to blend the color with the help of clean water and clean brush to get little lighter shade, and then you can put some darker color as well. Now create the center part of the flower with the help of black color, and then put some green color around the leaf area. I'm making sure I'm not going beyond the structure that I have created, but trust me, if you're going beyond the structure, that is also fine. Or else simply put some color into this particular area in the round shape or different pattern, that is also fine. So let's do the second one. So in the second one I have mixed white and purple color. I don't know, but I like to use sometime white color as well, so I mixed white and blue and white and purple color to paint these flowers. Also you can get some negative space in between, so I'm purposefully leaving a little bit of negative space around the petal area. So this is also a technique wherein you can paint your flower using watercolor, then try to create again a sub branch or branch kind of pattern to create leaf. So we are done with these two. This one is inspired by daffodil, so I think we should use yellow color. So go around the center part and the petal area with the help of yellow color. And I'm also doing leaf area with the help of yellow color first, because you can do some layering with the help of green color, or you can use blue color as well, because yellow and blue mix together to create green. So you can try different technique for sure. You can also add an additional leaf. Then I'm adding little bit of orange color around the center part of the flower to finish this one. Now in this one I'm using purple color and going around the edges, and with the help of clean brush I'm going to blend it so that I can get little lighter shade around the center part. So little lighter shade is something you can definitely try for this particular flower in the center, and then you can use more darker shade around the edges. Same you can do with the lower portion of the flower, and then you can use green color for the leaf and stem. Again in this one I'm using darker shade around one side of the leaf, and then I'm going to blend it using clean brush and clean water to get little lighter shade. This process is called gradient, and wherein you can get different shades of color. Now these two flowers, the last two, I'm going to paint these with white color, and I think you can use white color directly in this sheet because this one is light brown color, so white color is quite visible. Whenever I use white sheet, I like to use little grayish color to paint white flowers. And then you can use green color for the leaf area. You can add additional leaf with the help of green color. You can go beyond the structure as well, like I said, and you can do similar stuff for the flower too. So we are done with all these 6 flowers. We have drawn everything step by step, and then we have painted it using line and wash technique. So I'm hoping this video is helpful for you guys. Please do let me know if you have any kind of feedback for me, and thank you so much for loving my videos, watching my videos. See you guys in the next video.